Alright, imagine this. You wake up one morning, you go to brush your teeth, you look in the mirror, and your own eyes are reporting on you. Not metaphorically, literally. That, my friends, is the Copenhagen Test, a show that asks the very reasonable question: what if your brain got hacked and the hacker had better Wi Fi than you? Welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. I'm Ruben, and today we're talking about Peacock's ambitious, twisty, paranoia-soaked spy thriller, The Copenhagen Test, which dropped a couple of days ago and immediately sent my brain into full cork board red string mode. You know, like a murder board? That's where my brain went.
I followed every lead.
And yes, I liked it. Not loved every second, but we'll get there. But I liked it enough to give it a solid. Well, I'll tell you about what I gave it later. The Copenhagen Test is an 8-episode series created by Thomas Brandon, co-show run with Jennifer Yale, and executive produced by James Wan and Simu Liu. Yes, that James Wan, which explains why even the quiet scenes feel like something terrible might happen if someone opens the wrong email, opens the wrong door. There's this tension that simmers throughout the series, which I enjoyed quite a lot. The story follows Alexander Hale, played by Simu Liu, a brilliant, intelligent analyst who discovers that his sensory input, sight and sound, has been compromised, which is horrifying when you think about it, but also such a great idea for a series. Also, relatable if you've ever doom-scrolled TikTok at 2 a.m. That's terrifying. Let's start with Simu Liu, because this is easily his most restrained and interesting performance to date. If you're expecting Shang-Chi energy, lots of quips, swagger, heroic confidence, this isn't that. This is Simu Liu playing a man who cannot trust his co-workers, his bosses, his memories, or even his own damn eyeballs. And he nails it. There's a quiet panic under everything he does. Even when he's sitting still, his face is doing math. Or that scene that Joey does doing math in Friends. You know the one?
Just try and divide 232 by 13.
Supporting him, you've got Melissa Barrera as Michelle, grounding the show emotionally and adding much-needed human warmth. Sinclair Daniel as Parker, who might be the most "are you a villain or just annoying" character ever on television. A character you love to hate from beginning to end. Brian D'Arcy James is always phenomenal. He plays Peter Moira, a man who looks like he knows more than he's telling you, and probably does. Mark O'Brien as Cobb, again a character that you're going to love to hate at first. And Kathleen Chalifant as St. George, the kind of authority figure that kind of is quietly annoying and destroying your sense of self-worth when she looks at you, knows so much more, the certain type of person that peers into your very soul. This cast sells the paranoia. Nobody feels wasted and nobody feels like they wandered in from a different show. They all fit well within their character archetypes. Because the story is complex, this is not a put it on while doom-scrolling television. This is pause, rewind, wait, and then asking yourself, what did she just say television? The core hook is simple. Alexander's brain has been hacked. The execution, however, is layered, slow burning, and occasionally maddening. The show plays with surveillance culture, government secrecy, consent, identity, and the horror of not owning your own perception. It's an espionage meets speculative sci-fi with a dash of Black Mirror and a sprinkling of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy if Tinker Tailor also gave you anxiety. This is the kind of show where everyone whispers and you still don't trust them. What makes the Copenhagen Test work isn't just the hook and its themes. At its core, this show is about control. Who controls information, who controls truth, and what happens when your government knows you better than you know yourself. There's also a fascinating undercurrent about immigration identity, especially through Alexander's experience as a first-generation Chinese American, navigating loyalty, expectation, and suspicion. It isn't preachy, it's just part of the story and it feels very real. The show never screams these ideas at you, it just lets the story simmer with these ideas, which I respect. So many like it have failed at this and scream, "I've got a message," to ram down your throat. This series doesn't do that, which is very refreshing. Let's talk filmmaking. The cinematography by Selena Gardens and Luke Montepella is clean, it's cold, it's clinical, lots of blues and greys, reflections of glass. If a spy thriller had a color palette, then they nailed that aesthetic. Everyone is always framed like they've been watched. because they are. It's the story that, tells that. The camera often lingers just a second too long, making you uncomfortable in the best way. The shots of reflected mirrors or strained facial expressions from Simu as he tries to navigate having every part of his life viewed, it's beautiful in the worst way. We see the emotions in reflections, glances, and finger tapping Morse code. It's all tight when it needs to be, wide when it needs to be, but always feels like you're a voyeur. The editing is tight, though occasionally the show really wants you to feel lost, and sometimes it does exceed at that a little too well. This is prestige TV craftsmanship. When it comes to Peacock originals, I find them hit or miss, but I'm always glad when something hits well. Talking about the score of the series, it's low-key terrifying. Its audio waveforms really nail the aesthetic that they're going for. Nathan McKay deserves a special mention because of this. It's not flashy, it's not melodic, it's uneasy. It hums, it pulses, it creeps. This is music that sounds like your hard drive is thinking, and it perfectly reinforces the show's constant sense of dread. Watching the Copenhagen Test feels like if Black Mirror went to therapy, Mr. Robot took anxiety medication, and the Bourne Identity forgot who hacked him. This is not a show that holds your hand. It slaps your hand away and asks why you expected comfort. Without spoilers, yes, the show very clearly sets up for season 2. The final episodes expand the scope beyond Alexander himself and hit at larger systems, deeper conspiracies, and consequences that go way beyond one man's mind. It doesn't feel like sequel bait. It feels like the next chapter, which is good because I want the answers. And criticism, because nothing is perfect. Is it flawless? No. Some exposition is a little dense, a couple of episodes drag in the middle, and if you don't like slow burns, this may test your patience, but the action in here is very well done. It's believable, but still really fun to watch. There's a lot to chew on here if you lean into it. The Copenhagen Test is smart, stylish, paranoid television that trusts its audience. Sometimes maybe a little bit too much, but rewards you if you stick with it. Strong performances, thoughtful themes, excellent filmmaking. 4 Nicolas Cages out of 5. Not unhinged Cage, not face-off Cage, but definitely I'm thinking very hard while staring off into the distance. Thanks for listening and staring at my face for a few minutes. I hope you found this review entertaining and informative. This will be my last review of 2025, so I'm glad I finished on a high. See you in 2026. But most of all, remember, until next time, live long and cheap.